Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back. So today we're going to talk about how to set up your mixing board with your USB interface. Now, I just picked up the Steinberg UR22mkII USB interface. It offers two inputs for, left and right, or just gain here and gain there, and whichever way you get it set up in your software. But I have a Yamaha mixing board that has USB output, and one of my biggest problems with this was with the record out section to push everything through the USB port into the computer, even jacked full tilt. I didn't have a lot of audio waveform where, it's, the bigger your waveform, the more output you're getting. I would have a much smaller waveform, and to try and push that any higher, like through an EQ boost or whatever, even keeping the responses flat, it would clip the clip. It would distort it, right, if you pushed it too far, just to get enough audio output. And, one of the things I've had in the past over the years was some complaints where, you're not loud enough. I got my speakers cranked and blah, blah, blah. And, I had a lot of ways of getting audio in that would work for me. Some of those problems with those people, with some of them anyways, was actually more of an operator error, not mine. But I did have some of my own issues as well to deal with. And, that's part of getting a mixing board and getting better microphones over time for the computer and so on. I have an Apex 555 mic that's USB. It's a great mic. I really love it. But for doing live performing and having my amplifier going and my microphone going, you can't get a proper mix going live that way that's going to really work right with the microphone, right? You can do certain things and you can get by for a little while, but if you want to really improve things much better, you really need to look at getting into a USB interface. But if you do what I do, you're going to also want a mixing board as well. And now here's some of the things. A lot of mixers out there, especially lower budget priced ones, are not going to have an effects thing built in. But some of them do, especially the Yamahas. Even in their lower end, they do have built-in effects, so you don't have to buy an effects rack. And some effects racks, you get a reverb rack, you get a chorus rack, you're talking hundreds of dollars, per item, just to get whatever effects you want for all your stuff, right? And so this can be a bit of a pain, but newer modern day mixers, of course, have a lot of stuff put into them that's just insane. Our church got a new mixer just last year, near the tail end of the year, and it's a 32-channel Yamaha, and it's got so much stuff in it. I wish I could actually afford the same mixer, but I also don't have a use for 32 channels. 24 maybe, but 32, no. And it's a huge mixer, so you can really have a lot in there that's built in, lots of range for adjustment. You got to learn to do some tweaking, but you would be doing that with a regular separate rack anyways. So one of the things I've been struggling with since I got this interface box on my mixer. Now, my mixer didn't have that output, so this interface box really will help boost your input a lot. Like, I'm getting amazing input results now. So now my record out on my mixer is only halfway for the slider, and then I've got the dials on the interface because I'm using both channels, I guess you call it, both interfaces. So I have a left and a right. So I come left and right off my board, left and right to the thing. I turn both gains equal because I want those to have the equal signal, right? Because then I can manipulate it with the pan dials on the mixer from there for what I want. But they're set at about 230 on the dial if you count time on a clock that way with the dial. But anyways, so what I've been struggling with that I've worked out so I can inform you guys too about this, because I just worked this out tonight myself, is don't come off your record outs, because the problem with the record outs, unless you have an effect that is already there ahead of schedule, you're not going to hear it. Like my guitar, it has its own effect from the amp, and it's going through the line out of my Boss Katana 100. So my volume is actually on 0 on the main amp, so you won't even hear my amp. What you're hearing is through the line out cable. And And this is a pretty clean channel. Okay, now whatever effect I drive through there, you guys will hear, right? If I add any kind of reverb in, and if you're going through your record outs, which I discovered this tonight, you will not get the reverb effect from your mic. You'll hear it in your headphones, right? Because I'm listening to the headphones. My speakers are turned off so that I won't get that double over type of sound, which is one of the things I've been struggling with, which was why I needed to improve things and get things going right. Okay, and now I also have to I no longer have to worry about using my my Apex mic for trying to do live set recording, because yeah, this works much better and it's cleaner and much better output in the end. It's all 24-bit in the end. Anyway, so what I've done is I unplugged my speakers. Now I do get more. You will get more output from your house channel stereo out slider with your speakers, and you'll get less output signal from your monitor side. Now monitors, and I have monitor speakers that are like 95 watts a side, and they're the Yorkville YSM8s. Awesome speakers, by the way. You got to buy a set. But anyways, they're bi-amp powered speakers, so it's a non-powered board in this case. Anyways, I couldn't get that reverb effect in my vocal out, like to get it to work, right? So I ended up, I tried it through the monitor side. That wasn't giving me enough output even to get into audio here, because I watch my audio meter while I'm recording on QuickTime, right? And I'm seeing where things are sitting. And I really couldn't get a whole lot. Like I was doing okay, but not as much as I wanted, And because I also didn't want to drive the monitor channel all the way up to the top, because then you clip, right? Because even a preamp can clip. But anyways, so what I did was I went and I hooked my cables that are going into the interface. I hooked them to my monitor mains, or speaker out mains, and then I put my speakers themselves to the monitor channel, okay, because they're monitors, right? Now I get less output, but I also have everything turned down. I've only got my dial on my speakers about half, so if I want louder, I can get louder, and it still is pretty loud playing live through using the monitor control knob, because it's not a slider for the monitor on my board. But now I have the access to the effects rack on the mixer for my vocals. So right now I'm just talking plain to you and everything's playing. So this is what's going to happen. I'm going to turn up my effect dial for reverb on this channel here for this mic. So now, yeah, we're in like a huge, massive hall here now. And you should be able to hear this effect, because now the effect is being driven out with the speaker outputs from the mixer. The record out puts a dry signal out. So even if you're recording, so when you're recording through the record outs, you'll hear in the headphones, yeah, I got reverb going on all this. Your guitar will still be fine, because like I said, you already ran the effects from your amp through the line out, then in. So it's already done ahead of time, right? So you're going guitar dry into your amp, output from the amp has already got the effect, and you're okay through record outs. But your microphone, unless you have a reverb rack, okay, or reverb effect somehow for your microphone, you're not going to get reverb. Now, if you're playing guitar and singing a song, you want to have reverb on your vocals, because it helps enhance your vocals. You just don't want too much reverb, or it's going to sound like crap. And so the only way to get that out of the mixer, if you can't get it through your record outs, because I know the Yamaha doesn't do it, at least not mine anyways, and the one I had before this wouldn't have done it either, is you got to go through your speaker out mains, not the monitor outs, the main speaker out mains. Or yeah, you could do the monitor outs, but you will get more output is what I'm saying. You get more output through the house mains, okay? So you're best to go through there, and then you input those two connections as a left and right into your USB interface. And then through your mixer, of course, you hook up your mics, your drum machine if you have one like I do, your piano. My piano's hooked in, so anything I do on my piano. So this allows you to, instead of just being limited to 2 jacks, now you have only the limits to what your mixer has. So, I have a 12-channel mixer, I can have up to 12 items going through even all at the same time, which is awesome. And if I have a bigger mixer, again, more access. So anyways, I want to do just a short little recording piece for you guys with a vocal track, just to show you how this is going to work and what you can also expect at the same time. And so I'm going to shut this mic off so I don't get any kind of extra interference. So now we're going to go through, you'll hear a lot of echo here right now, and that's fine. That's perfectly normal. I wanna serve you, Lord, for the rest of my days. I want to be like Jesus. I wanna make the lame to walk and the blind to see. Open up the prison doors and set the captives free. Lord, I want to be like Jesus in every way. I want to make the rain go away. I want to make the sun to shine. Okay, so when you're talking into that mic, there's a lot of echo and reverb, but you don't hear all that pile of echo and reverb once things get going, right? So when you're trying to record, you know, your main singer actually has to have a little bit of reverb, or in this case, well, yeah, it's about, depending on how you set up your return on your stuff as well. My effect return's about halfway up, and then my main effect is about 11 o'clock right now on that channel. So I'm not getting over swamped, right? Which is good, because you don't want to actually hear, you want to hear very little reverb in the end on the person's voice, you know, and I've already got delay and reverb going on the guitar as it is. So you got reverb, delay. So I already have that ahead of time. Now I could put that signal in dry, you know, like an acoustic guitar would be really dry, right? But I like, you know, on a guitar, realistically, a chorus effect would work really well, or just a touch of reverb. It depends on the song too, right? But this is how I now have it set up, and everything works just perfect. So if you are having problems and you are using a mixing board, and you've got effects built into that board, okay, you're not going to get it likely through the record output jacks and through into this box and then into your computer with those effects active, other than, you know, if you have effects done already, you know. So like I said, guitar right here is wireless, okay, even if it had cord, it'd be the same thing. Guitar goes into an amp dry, and then whatever effects you put on the back end, those get sent out through, in this case, my line out jack on my amp, because it's designed to go into a mixer. And I've got it plugged into my DI box. I have no effects on that channel. My bass, mid, and treble are actually all at 12 o'clock on that channel for my DI box. And then, of course, effects are turned right off. So the only effects are whatever I'm using here in the amp. But I could use an alternate effect from my board if I wanted to, but the only problem with that is I only get one effect, and that's it. It goes through all the channels. So I'd rather just use the effects on the amp and then leave the other effects available to me for my vocal part. Anyway, so like I said, I'm going through the main outs, speaker main outs, because that's going to have the most signal being able to be pushed through the house line of your mixing board. And those go to the inputs of your USB interface, and then your speakers. Now you can hook your speakers into the USB interface if you have that support. The Steinberg UR22mkII has that support, and there's a separate output knob. So, but it's going to only work based on gain that is available to the speakers, and then you turn up accordingly. So you may or may not get as much output through the box to your speakers as you would from the mixer. So I'm still into the mixer. I'm through the monitor channel on the mixer, and you know, I do have that option where I can still hook up you know, another set of speakers, even if I wanted to do to the back of the Steinberg, and I can use it that way too, any way I want, you know. So you have kind of like endless possibilities depending on which interface box you get, you know. And there are a lot of choices out there too, and some have very basic features, and some have a lot, like the Steinberg UR22s have a lot of features in them. It's just power packed. I mean, you're definitely getting your $200 worth. Now that's Canadian dollars too, keep in mind. But this works really well for me, and I think it's going to really help improve the quality of my videos, for not just for, you know, the whole guitar music stuff and piano, whatever I'm pumping through this system, but even the vocal thing. It's going to be a lot better because I do come out at 16-bit from the mixer, and it gets converted at the box to the back end into 24-bit into the computer. So that's a huge, huge improvement from anything I've been set up with before. Now I just got to figure out what I'm going to do with my Apex mic, because this can get addictive using this setup, just even as a full-time thing. It's like, wow, and I paid $200 almost for that mic. Well, what the hell? I can use it, no problems. But anyway, so that's my setup. That's how things are and how you need to work around problems that you may have, you know. And so if you have a mixer and it has no effects in it, well, then you're stuck with effects, having to buy effects racks that, or upgrade your mixer to one that already has some effects in it, like the Yamaha. The other one is the MG82CX, is the last one I had. You can check that out on my channel. And then, of course, I got this new MW12CX. Now, it's not new. It's been out on the market for a few years. And they got another new model 12-channel one that I'm looking at. It's $800, but I'm kind of like, it's the same channels. What am I gaining? I'd have to actually read into it, see what I'd actually be gaining, but probably nothing that I can use even in this space, because this mixing board system stays in here. So I really don't think I need another 12-channel with some extra bells and whistles. Maybe something like a 24 with a ton of bells and whistles. Now we're talking fun stuff. But also, ching-ching. But, you know, yeah, I'm quite content with this for the time being, so we'll see. Depends on how far I expand things. But anyways, guys, thanks so much for being patient and sticking with me through the video. Hopefully this helped you solve some of your problems, because you're definitely not going to get these solutions from Yamaha, because they're going to be scratching their head going, what the heck? It should do it. It's record out, and whatever you do should go through record. Yeah, it should go through record bus, shouldn't it? But it's not. Why? Well, this is why, you know. And so yeah, so don't even worry about using your record out bus if you're having this problem that I ran into. Just go through your main house monitor routes, because they have the highest output too, which is nice. And then use your monitor channel to power your powered speakers. Or if you want, just plug your powered speakers into your Steinberg box if you want. It's kind of up to you how you want to do that part, but I would definitely recommend going through the speaker mains for the house side for running into the box, because then any effects on board this mixer that you utilize, or your mixer, you know, if you're having the same issue even with a different brand of mixer, they'll now get pumped through, you know. Because otherwise what people would do is they would just be like, oh, well, it doesn't work, screw it, I can just edit that audio, it's no big deal, I can add in reverb later. Well, why don't you just save yourself a whole lot of time and flip a couple of plugs around? You don't have to worry about that later. Anyways, thanks for watching. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. If you have any questions about this sort of thing, feel free to ask. I'll do the best I can to answer. I've been figuring stuff out rather quickly and learning really fast with this USB interface thing, and I've been no stranger to mixers, so I know quite a bit there already. But I don't know everything about every mixer out there, so, you know, I mean, it's going to be, I might have to wait a couple of days before responding and find an answer for you. But in the meantime, catch you later, and have fun. Ciao.